So, you won't believe what went down at Royal Ascot this year. It was less about the horses and more about a royal rumble, if you catch my drift. Picture this: the sun's blazing, everyone's decked out in their finest frocks and fascinators, and beneath the surface, a power struggle of epic proportions is brewing between Queen Camilla and Princess Kate Middleton. It all started with a dress, or rather, a dress that wasn't. Kate had this stunning pearl green silk number custom made for the occasion. Apparently, it was the dress to end all dresses, the kind that would make even the most seasoned fashionistas green with envy. But then disaster struck. Just before Ascot, the dress was found ripped, like someone had taken a pair of scissors to it in a fit of pique. Of course, no one knows for sure who was behind it, but let's just say that suspicion immediately fell on Camilla. I mean, the timing was just too perfect, right? Now, Camilla and Kate, they've never exactly been besties. There's always been this undercurrent of tension between them, a silent competition for the spotlight. Kate, with her effortless charm and natural grace, has become a media darling, while Camilla, while she's had a tougher time winning over the public, she's always been seen as the other woman, the one who broke up Charles and Diana's marriage. And even now that she's queen, she still feels like she's living in Kate's shadow. So, back to the dress. When Kate's gown was sabotaged, it was like a declaration of war. Camilla, it seemed, was determined to remind everyone who the real queen was. She even showed up at Ascot wearing this massive ruby brooch, like a flashing sign saying, "Look at me." The brooch itself was a statement. It broke all of Ascot's usual traditions of restraint. It was as if Camilla were daring anyone to ignore her. But here's the thing about Kate: she's not one to back down from a challenge. Instead of panicking about the ripped dress, she simply pulled out a backup gown, an ivory number that was just as stunning. And when she stepped out at Ascot, she looked absolutely radiant. The crowd went wild. It was like she had turned a disaster into a triumph. Camilla, on the other hand, seemed to fade into the background. Despite her efforts to steal the spotlight, all eyes were on Kate. It's as if the public was sending Camilla a message: you can try to bring Kate down, but she'll always rise above it. William, of course, was caught in the middle of all this. He loves Kate fiercely, but he also has a duty to his father and the monarchy. He could see the tension between Camilla and Kate, and he knew that things were escalating quickly. He was determined to protect Kate, but he also didn't want to create a full-blown royal scandal. It was a delicate balancing act, and he had to tread carefully. The next day, things went from bad to worse. Camilla, not one to admit defeat, decided to take her battle to the press. Word on the street is she had some well-placed friends in the media, and suddenly articles started popping up, painting Kate in a less than flattering light. One headline screamed, "Princess Kate's overbearing presence dims the Queen's light," accusing her of being too glamorous, too ambitious, and basically stealing Camilla's thunder. Can you believe the audacity? Of course, the public wasn't buying it. Social media exploded with support for Kate, with hashtags like "We Stand With Kate" trending worldwide. But the damage was done. The articles had planted a seed of doubt, and Camilla, knowing how easily public opinion can be swayed, was ready to water it. William, seeing the attacks on his wife, was furious. He knew Camilla was behind it, and he wasn't about to let her get away with it. He secretly gathered his own team, a group of trusted advisors, including a media strategist, a cybersecurity expert, and a former investigative journalist. They were like the royal version of the Avengers, ready to defend Kate's honor. Turns out, Camilla's press campaign wasn't just a random act of jealousy. William's team discovered a direct link between Camilla's senior aide and a PR firm known for spreading negative stories about the royals. They even intercepted emails detailing instructions to highlight Camilla's achievements while minimizing Kate's contributions. The level of pettiness was truly astounding. Armed with this evidence, William confronted his father, King Charles. He laid out the facts, explaining how Camilla was using her position to wage a personal war against Kate, damaging the monarchy in the process. Charles, who has always been torn between his love for Camilla and his duty to the crown, was devastated. He knew William was right, but the thought of confronting Camilla was almost unbearable. Ultimately, Charles did what he had to do. He summoned Camilla and, in a private meeting, told her that she would not be attending the final day of Royal Ascot. He cited health reasons as the official explanation, but everyone knew the truth. Camilla had been banished for her behavior. The final day of Ascot was noticeably different without Camilla's presence. Kate and William, standing side by side, looked more united than ever. The crowd cheered, the cameras flashed, and the monarchy seemed to have weathered the storm. But the tension lingered. Everyone knew that this was just the beginning of a much deeper conflict. Later that evening, Camilla sat alone in her chambers, watching the Ascot coverage on television. She saw Kate and William, radiant and smiling, surrounded by their children. She saw the headlines praising their grace and popularity, and she felt a wave of bitterness wash over her. She had tried everything to steal the spotlight, but in the end, she had only succeeded in isolating herself. The thing is, Camilla's always felt like she's had to fight for her place in the royal family. She's had to overcome years of public disapproval and comparisons to Diana, and now, just when she thought she had finally earned her acceptance, Kate comes along and effortlessly steals the show. It's no wonder she's resentful, but her methods, the sabotage, the press attacks, they were all wrong. They only served to make her look petty and insecure. As for Kate, she's emerged from this whole ordeal looking even stronger. She's shown that she can handle anything that's thrown her way, whether it's a ripped dress or a smear campaign. She's a true class act, and that's why the public loves her. And William, well, he's proven that he'll do whatever it takes to protect his wife and the monarchy. So what's next for Camilla? Will she learn from her mistakes and try to rebuild her relationship with Kate, or will she continue to plot and scheme, determined to have her revenge? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the royal drama is far from over. Royal Ascot might have ended, but the fallout? Oh, honey, that was just beginning. You see, banishing Camilla from the final day was like slapping a band-aid on a gaping wound. It looked like things were healing, but underneath, the infection was festering. The quiet at Windsor didn't last long. Soon enough, whispers started leaking from the palace walls. Staff were reassigned, loyalties shifted, and the atmosphere was thicker than clotted cream. Camilla, though officially sidelined, wasn't exactly twiddling her thumbs. She might have been barred from public life, but she still had influence, connections, and a whole lot of resentment simmering inside. Word got out that she was spending hours on the phone, supposedly consulting with various advisors. But let's be real, she was probably plotting her comeback, and who could blame her? Being publicly humiliated like that, it's enough to make anyone want revenge. The thing is, Camilla's problem is that she sees everything as a competition. She's so focused on winning that she forgets about the bigger picture. She's so busy trying to tear Kate down that she doesn't realize she's damaging the entire monarchy in the process. Meanwhile, Kate and William were trying to maintain a sense of normalcy. They knew that all eyes were on them, and they were determined not to let Camilla's antics derail their work. They continued their royal duties, visiting charities, attending events, and generally being the picture-perfect couple that everyone adores. But behind closed doors, things were probably pretty tense. William had to be furious with Camilla for putting Kate through all this, and Kate, bless her heart, probably just wanted the whole thing to be over. She's never been one for drama, and this whole situation must have been incredibly stressful for her. The real question is, what does the future hold for Camilla? Can she ever truly be accepted by the public? Can she ever repair her relationship with William and Kate? Honestly, it's hard to say. She's made a lot of mistakes and she's burned a lot of bridges, but who knows, maybe she'll surprise us all. Maybe she'll have a change of heart and decide to focus on being a supportive queen instead of a jealous rival. One thing's for sure, the royal family is a complex and fascinating bunch. Their lives are filled with privilege and power, but they're also subject to intense scrutiny and pressure. They're constantly walking a tightrope, trying to balance their personal desires with their public duties, and sometimes they stumble. The Royal Ascot drama was a reminder that even the most glamorous lives can be messy and complicated. It was a glimpse behind the curtain, a peek into the power struggles and personal rivalries that exist within the royal family, and it was a reminder that even queens can be insecure, jealous, and vindictive. But it was also a reminder of the resilience of Kate, the strength of William, and the enduring appeal of the monarchy. Despite all the drama, the royal family continues to captivate us, to inspire us, and to remind us that even in the 21st century, fairy tales can still come true. Or at least that's what we tell ourselves. The truth, as always, is probably much more complicated, and the game of crowns, it never truly ends. It just pauses, reshuffles, and begins again, with new players and higher stakes. The next act, I suspect, will be even more dramatic.